Hi Leo, welcome to your monthly tarot reading with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining me. So, as you know, by now, I am a Leo ascending. I am a Leo rising. So this is relevant for me just as much as it is for you. So I want to bless both of these decks with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I hope that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's see what your actions and your interactions have to say this month in the world, and what has March got in store for you. Okay, so March is going to be a month of balancing your finances and making practical decisions. You've got the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles represents being thrifty. It represents being smart with your money. It represents making practical, grounded decisions. Why do I say that? The twos represent partnership, but they also represent decisions. They represent making choices. Pentacles are earth, they're money, materials, they're the physical realm. And this talks very much about making grounded, practical decisions. You see how he hops from one foot to the other while balancing the two pentacles. And on top of that, he's got the Mobius veil there. So this talks about your understanding of finance. It talks about your understanding of money, of the value of what you own and what you have, and how that value relates directly to how you interact with the world. So it's going to be quite a deep month in terms of, you know, finance for you guys. In terms of your actions, this is about you really hunkering down, setting yourself a budget, setting your sights high and saying, right, where do I want to be? How am I going to get there? What do I need to know? And more importantly, how can I get the most out of what I already have? How can I get the most out of my skills, my gifts, my abilities? Is my work, is it honoring me enough? This is you making those grounded, practical decisions and really examining your relationship to money, your relationship to the material world. You know, your actions and your interactions is how you show up in the world as well. This is the month where people start to see, okay, you can be generous, you can be frivolous, you can be the party guy or party girl, but actually, what is Leo? Leo is a cat. Cats can be very calculating when they need to be. You know, you see a cat will paw the ground. It will paw the thing that it's going to step on before it actually does. That's not, you know, it's not about fear. It's actually about being prudent. It's actually about testing the ground. Is this terra firma? Is this okay for me to step onto? Is it going to support what it is that I want and need to create in my life at this moment in time? And the way that you do that this month is by getting really serious. So I actually feel that there's going to be a lot of conversations about money for Leos this month. There's going to be a lot of conversations about where you want to be and how you're going to get there, and your interactions with the world and with people at large. People are going to start to see how calculating you can be. And I don't say that in a negative way, actually. I say that in a really positive way. When you can be calculating, you can take your emotions out of your decisions. When you can take your emotions out of your decisions, you can be practical. And when you can be practical, you can also be logical. And that is not a bad thing. So this month, people are seeing a different side to you, a more serious side to you, which again, it's not a bad thing. Okay, so your money and your materials. Let's see where you're going with this and what that has in store for you. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Awesome. So you've got a lot of finance here. You've got a lot of practical matters taking place this month. Interesting that I talked about what your skills and stuff were, because the Nine of Pentacles represents beauty. It represents art, music, books. It represents the fertility of life. It represents beautiful things. It actually represents really good, happy, positive times. Excuse me. But it also represents your skill. It represents your ability. It represents your the things that you are able to do and how you can turn those things into something lucrative for you in terms of health and your physical body, because the money and your materials isn't just your finances, it's also your physical body and your dwelling. So for a lot of you, this is about making, you know, the decision to really commit to getting healthy. For those of you that are thinking about, you know, starting a new exercise regime, or, you know, thinking, okay, I want to make my body the best that it's been or better than it is now, this is the month to get started, to absolutely get started, because what you start this month, although is going to be challenged, and the reason I say that is because you've got the Jupiter retrograde coming up and then you've got the Mercury retrograde coming up. There will be challenges to this, but if you start it this month, it will come off. It will come, you know, it will come good for you in the end, even with all the challenges that you face. But on a monetary level, this is about digging deep. It's also about graduation of some sort. You know, this is about taking your skills from an elementary level and elevating them to the point where you become a master, to the point where you become a contender, to the point where you become an authority. This is about the steps that you take to get there. This is about you deciding to elevate the skills that you have in beauty, poise and grace, and turning them into something that can be very, very lucrative for you down the road. And it also talks about doing, you know, painting and decorating, making the best, as I said, of what you already have, turning it into more, you know, making the butter stretch over slightly more bread than, you know, than it might, you know, should or whatever. You get my drift. Okay, so in your communications, if there's anything I want to add to that as well, because, you know, your actions are about creating more abundance for yourself. Your actions are about creating more finance for yourself. You're being seen as more practical. You're seeing yourself as more practical, more grounded, more logical. And by seeing yourself as that and projecting that out into the world, you get more responsibility, but you also get more support. So in your communications is your interactions with people, your phone calls, your text messages, letters, emails, all of that sort of stuff. Social media presence, if you have one. Get the Hanged Man. So while you're busy soul searching on what your gifts and talents are, what your you know, how you're going to create more for yourself, how you're going to start to pave the way to have, you know, the better house, the better job, the better financial status, all of that stuff, you're going to have this month will probably be quite quiet for Leos, which is no bad thing. I think you've had this card before as well in this position. And that's not a bad thing, because for me, what this says is you are willing to forego some of your celebrity, that you're willing to forego some of your celebrity. It's like you're willing to make the sacrifices you have to now so that you can have the things that you want at a later date. And you know, that's a good thing. The Hanged Man represents patience, it represents stillness, it represents waiting. It also represents your ability to draw, you know, to become enlightened. And I've talked about this before. What is the process of enlightenment? Enlightenment is a process. It's about acceptance. From the acceptance comes the wisdom. From the wisdom comes the understanding. And once you reach the place of understanding, or it might be the other way around, you then become enlightened. You know, it's those steps that you have to take to become enlightened, to gain knowledge, to gain wisdom, and finally understand that and then apply it, really apply it so that it actually creates real change in your life. That is enlightenment. You know, it's being able to take the process and the road of the journey of learning something to the point of being able to apply it. You know, and that's the process of enlightenment as far as I'm aware, as far as I believe and perceive what it actually is. You know, and it's acceptance. So I believe that socially, you know, in terms of communication, this is going to be quite a slow month for you guys. This is going to be, you know, a bit of a, not you taking it, well, yeah, maybe even taking a back seat. It's going to be a time where you know, like I said, you're just willing to forego some of the interaction and the cooperation, the interaction. So there won't be as much, you know, usually you're at the heart and soul of all the communication, because Leo loves to be the life and soul of the party. Absolutely. But even the partying this month, it's not that it isn't there. It's just that you're foregoing that and saying, look, you know what, I'm going to focus more on this stuff now, because I've got a very clear idea. And, you know, the foundations that you're laying with these two things, you know, your home, your hearth, your money and materials, and your actions in the world, you're laying the foundations for quite a while to come, you know, certainly for the next 5 to 8 months. And in order to do so, you have to take that time and that energy from somewhere else. And I kind of feel like this is going to be you foregoing a lot of the social interaction for the sake of what you could have later on, you know, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we have to get quiet in order to get a little bit selfish, you know, and sometimes one of the taglines for the Hanged Man is sacrifice. Sometimes we have to give something up in order to have the thing that we want. Okay, and then finally, your heart and your hearth. This is your relationships with your significant other and also your family and friends. You have the Three of Wands. Okay, so for some of you, this month, you're going to be taking short journeys and short trips. This is going to be you going to places. Now, the interesting thing is, I have a trip to Stonehenge and Avebury planned this for the month of March. And it's those kind of, and I'm going actually with a sibling, so you know that kind of validates this for me already. You know, and because the Three of Wands is about your ship coming in, but it's also about small journeys, like trips across the pond or trips to going to places. And because it talks about your ship coming in, this is about a windfall. So this could be in the process of going somewhere with a family member, going somewhere with a significant other, and taking that time out to do something of a more quiet and solitudinal or even spiritual nature. What you come across, who you interact with on this journey may well just set you up with the right person, place, space, energy to start to really make some of this happen. So taking, you know, I'm not coming out this weekend, guys. I'm not going to go partying so much. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Foregoing all of this stuff in order to do some of this stuff opens you up and gives you a lot more energy to start to create these things. For those of you that are partnered, this is about you making more time and finding out just how strong you can be as a couple. It talks about how much you can create when you work together, how much you can generate when you work together. For those of you that are single, this talks very much about you bumping into somebody on a journey. This talks about you bumping into somebody by surprise. For the family interaction, you know, go on a family day out. For friends as well, do the same thing, you know. And this isn't about partying and being constantly on your phone and checking your social media and all of that stuff and being busy. It's about quality, not quantity. It's about maybe having those 1 or 2 trips that you have, that you do for the entire month, and the quality, and more importantly, the rewards and the benefits that come from that, from the interactions that you find yourself having. That's so much more beneficial than having, you know, 1,000 friends and, you know, constantly chatting and all the rest of it. Sometimes it's actually just a waste of energy. More calculating this month, as we said. Okay, and finally, your key to the month of March. The Wheel of Fortune. Luck is on your side. Lady Luck is in your favour. She comes to bring you strength. She comes to bring you power. And it's also a reminder that, you know what, taking this downtime, taking this step back and removing yourself from the hustle and bustle of everything is not a bad thing, because what it's going to give you is time to focus on the things that are really... Excuse me. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze there. it's going to give you time to really focus on creating your future, on what it is that you need from your life now, what it is that you need to put in now, so that you can have what it is that you desire at a later date. And this Wheel of Fortune is saying it's okay to have a dip, it's okay to have some downtime, because from that downtime and the depths, you can only go up and then find yourself at a better, more enlightened, more elevated state. This is a month to be calculating. It's a time to withdraw, it's a time to get focused, and it's a time to get serious. Build your future today. All right, Leo, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Thank you so much for your continued support. For those of you that want to reach me, you can do so on the links below. For those of you that have donated, and for those of you that you would like to, the PayPal link is below. Thank you so much. That is, of course, completely your choice. Take care, have a great month, and I will see you very soon.